There were really three things. The first one was the dealing and management of emails, which have become the principal form of communication over the last decade. The second thing was to increase transparency of all of the information that was in the office in order to give proper access to all of it. And there was a third thing, which was to do with project financials, which were being run on a rather fragile homemade system. And we needed to get that into some third-party provided system. Well, they're inadequate because they tend to live on the C drive of the individual's PC. And that means that they're not being properly backed up and they're not being properly shared. And also some of these systems, as I've said before, are quite fragile. And there needs to be something that draws them all together to give better sharing of knowledge. We considered a number of bespoke database management systems, including Archetype. I was very interested to hear today that Union Square had acquired Archetype. But the trouble with all of these systems that we looked at was that they were too specific. They were trying to address what were particularly architectural problems, and what we wanted was something which was more business or management based. Well, one of the benefits is ISO 9001. One of the points was that in doing a root and branch review of all of our procedures as part of the setting up of Workspace, we were able to set up an ISO 9001 protocol which reflects what we actually do. And it's interesting that over the last couple of months we've been approached by 2 or 3 different local architects who want to know precisely how we achieved our ISO 9001, and Workspace is a central part of that. Well, the first thing we did was to talk to someone else who had already recently installed Workspace, another architect who we knew well and trusted. And one of the points that they made was that you have to provide proper commitment in terms of having a Workspace champion. So what we did was to take one of our associate directors and devoted more than half her time for a 9-month period as the lead-in to Workspace implementation. And in a way, what we were doing through all of that was to review all of our procedures, root and branch, with a view towards checking that all of them were doing what we actually wanted, but also to enable us to move towards an ISO 9001 accreditation. So that actually the main aim behind all of this was to put a tick in the box of ISO 9001. And that, in a sense, established the financial limit that you might be able to go to. I think it's been positive. I think at the outset we didn't fully appreciate the degree of customization that's always required. I mean, there was the integration of our own project financials, which was a very specific thing. But I don't think we ever had any doubt of their capability of doing that. We had no doubt because it was already a data-based function, and therefore it should have been possible to integrate it anyhow. But we have found them responsive to our needs, and the system is doing exactly what we want. The first thing I'd say is that there are different ways of doing it, but we went down the Big Bang approach. And what you've actually got to do is to get full sign-in to the system right from the outset. So that means that the directors of the company must be behind it. You need to set up some consultative committees, and they need to include someone from every level and every section within the office. You need to work together with what your procedures are going to be. Having made the Big Bang changeover, you then need to move on the new basis. And the reason why I'm saying the Big Bang is important is that there is a backlash that can come in afterwards with particularly senior staff at director level normally, who suddenly find that they're not quite so au fait with these procedures as they thought they were going to be beforehand. And if you don't do a big bang changeover, I think you'll have difficulty in bringing your senior people with you.